Today's article is brought to you by Bankrate.com and is written by Donna Fuscaldo. Oversharing millennials at risk of identity theft. I wanted to bring you this article even though it's talking about something else, but it relates to dating fully because a lot of times we don't realize the amount of information that we're putting out there when we are setting up dating profiles, or better yet, when we're just talking to the average person. So, let me give you a few things that I thought would be of interest out of this article. So let's go dig into it. Millennials have grown up with technology playing a leading role in their lives, and as a result, are quick to embrace the latest and greatest device, app, or social network. But that comfort with technology puts them at particular risk for identity theft at a time when the criminals are getting increasingly greedy. Consider this. According to the Javelin Strategy 2015 Identity Fraud Report, thieves stole $16 billion from 12.7 million U.S. consumers in 2014. That amounts to new identity fraud victim every 2 seconds, according to Javelin. And Americans aged 20 to 29 make up 15% of identity theft complaints, according to a 2012 study by the Federal Trade Commission. For tech-savvy millennials, the threat of becoming a statistic doesn't register, even though their behavior makes them more susceptible, says Tim Robaugh, hope I'm saying that right, Chief Information Security Officer at Intersections Incorporated, an identity risk management company. There's a certain amount of trust inherent with these systems by millennials, Robaugh says. They are digital natives. A lot of stuff they take for granted. Privacy can protect you from identity theft. According to cybersecurity experts, millennials' willingness to share personal data on social networks puts them at increased risk. These days, many websites require users to input a password and answer security questions to gain access. But often, the answers to those questions can easily be discovered on a person's Facebook page. Are you putting too much out there on Facebook? Might want to check that out. Moving on here. Another reason millennials are at risk is their openness to try new technology without giving much thought to repercussions. After all, if someone steals their credit card and makes purchases, they know they won't be on the hook to the card issuer. Consumers have been trained that they're not liable for fraud. And that comes from using credit cards, says Garrett Evans, Vice President of Solution Services at ID Analytics. What millennials don't realize is when you have your identity stolen, it's a lot more painful for the consumer to untangle. Less comfort, more scrutiny needed. For millennials, protecting themselves from identity theft starts with being more discerning where they input their information. Experts say creating a personal persona on social media that is completely locked down to people outside of their network can help prevent hackers from decoding their passwords and answers to security questions. What's more, millennials should create answers to security questions that are more like additional passwords rather than their favorite pet's name, which is plastered all over their social media pages. There needs to be a barrier between personal and professional profiles, Robaugh says. There needs to be a barrier between personal and professional profiles, Robaugh says. We're teaching people that keeping their work and professional persona separate is extremely important, he says. Keep an eye on apps. Being aware of what their apps are doing in the background also can protect millennials from someone secretly siphoning their data or installing a virus on their cell phone or computer. There also needs to be a change in attitude with the realization that this can happen to them and that identifying data beyond a bank account or a social security number has to be a priority. Millennials have to scrutinize the terms and conditions of every service they sign up for and take control of their privacy settings, ID Analytics Evans says. There are ways to limit the exposure of that information. Well, that article says a lot and should help you to connect the dot on a lot of different things. Maybe take a look at your Facebook profile. Take a look at your Plenty of Fish profile, your eHarmony, or whatever online dating social media site that you're on. And make sure that you're not putting too much data out there. Certainly locking down these things will decrease the vulnerabilities that are set up and you'll be able to protect yourself better online. So again, this is brought to you by bankrate.com, and go ahead, leave me some comments, rate, subscribe. September Man out.